Hey everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis. So, something I've been noticing for a while, thinking about, wondering about, is attacking buffs against monsters. They seem to be really OP versus PvP buffs. So, I'm going to do a series of tests here and show you, and we'll come to a conclusion. Don't want to say if I'm right or wrong because it's up to your own eyes to look at that, and you could do your own test. So the two main ways I'm going to test are by changing my blazons, and the Monarch talent at level 40 has a buff against monsters. So I have max 20 PvP blazons. Everything on there is some sort of PvP attack. And they're cultivated high as well. So we're going to use them and we're going to attack the world boss. And we're going to see what score we get. Then we're going to change our blazons and attack. Then we're going to change the Monarch talent. And then we're going to go back to our blazons with the Monarch talent changed. So here we are with our first attack. PvP blazons, no Monarch talent buff. We're going to get a base score. And right there looks like 13, almost 13.3 billion. Is that billion or million in score? Either way, it's 13.3. We'll just go with that. So now we're going to change our blazons to our monster blazons for mounted. And you can see they're level 1. They only have 2 buffs. They don't have 4. They have no cultivation. The 2 buffs are less than 1%. But the key here is that you have the 30%, 6 out of 6 piece set buff, which goes against monsters. So we just did a 13.3 with max blazons. So you would think by changing over, we would lose a lot here. We would drop down to something like 10. But we only dropped to 12.377, so 12.4 almost. So a 900,000 loss, or a 0.9 loss, because I'm not really sure if that's million or 100,000. And anyways, so there you go. So seems like I would have thought it would drop more. But, you know, that's a little inconclusive because they're not the same level. So now we're going to change our Monarch talent. And I'm making sure here to add everything that amplifies your troops by your subs. So obviously there's 2 of them. There's a 4% attack per subsidy and also an HP per subsidy. And those are going to multiply onto the attack, and they're important to have. But the most important thing here is the level 40 attack on monsters. So we're going to get that on there as well right here. And now we're going to attack the world boss with this on and those blazons. So it should obviously go up, right? Like we're doing nothing different except adding 10% more monster attack. And keep in mind, there's so many more ways to get monster attack in the game. You can focus your champions on it and really level them up. You can also spend lots of money and get duty officer gear and refine it for monster buffs. So here we are. We're now going to do our monster blazons. And there we go. Almost 12.5. So we went up about 100.12. So that's either 120,000 or 1.2 million. I think it's 120,000. Either way, that's a very good increase for only 10%. So now we're going to go back over to our PvP blazons. And we're going to keep the Monarch talent on from monster buff. So we should go up on our original. It was 13.3. And right here, yeah, we went up there. So you can see the difference in the 2. So fairly significant increase on it, about 200,000. So, you know, that's 10%. If you can find, there is about, I did the math with Real Barb Life, and he thinks there's about 500% buffs out there for attacks on bosses. So you could just think about how many wounded you would save if you had a set like this now, or someone in your alliance who had it, because you don't want all your PvP players to have it. So right here, now I'm going to do 2 rallies. So this is the first one. This is a rally with only me in it. And now I'm going to port home and I'm going to do a rally and let some teammates join. The reason I want to do this is because it was another theory of some players that if you fill the rally, your attack will be stronger because there's more layers to distract the world boss, and you'll actually get a better attack total. So now we're going to fill a rally, and we'll let it fill here, and we'll come back and see what sort of damage it does. There's also another theory that if the world boss HP goes down, so like let's say you're attacking the world boss and he only has 20% HP instead of 100%, that might help also. But I haven't seen that happen. So here is the rally with teammates involved, and let's look at the score, compare it, and it's slightly less. It's slightly less than my solo in rally attack. I wouldn't put too much stock into that. I'd basically say it's almost a draw. It's slightly less. But there's some inconsistencies in Evony, as always, that just can't be explained sometimes. So I think it is pretty conclusive that any sort of buff on monsters outweighs any PvP buff, whether it's in rally buff or attacking buff, etc. The monster attack is the strongest one against monsters, which makes sense. I'm happy it did work out that way, but it does suck that it's so OP that a level 1 blazon is almost the same as a level 20 max blazon with, like, you got to remember that has full cultivation, 4 max refines, and it only beat it by a little bit. So let me know what your thoughts on it, and like, subscribe, leave a comment.